So let me take it at a macro level. This is where, as Canadians, everything is much better. These are things I would argue that bundled together that very few countries in the world have. These are our core strengths and assets that are going to help us win the game. This is going to help us compete with India. This is going to help us compete with China. And let's walk through them. Healthy economy. In spite of the financial challenges, we have a strong banking system, strong tax model, for good or for bad. We have a relatively healthy economy, and it's been relatively stable. Exceptionally strong resource base. Many of you probably know we're the mining capital of the world. You spend time in the US, time in Japan, you spend time in Australia, New Zealand, you talk mining, everyone thinks Canada. That's a core asset. So think about what we can do with that. Productive science base. There's about $1.5 billion, again, don't hate me for pulling Toronto-centric information out, but within the research hospitals downtown in Toronto, there's over $1.5 billion of money, public sector funds invested into those hospitals just to really get the science community engaged and for quality of research output. That is outstanding. Education system. Trent, Sanford Fleming. These are world-class institutions among all the others in the country relative to the global landscape. These are heads and tails above other ones. Talented and skilled workforce. Again, a bit cliche, but redundant, we know that. Livable communities. We have the infrastructure, we have the water. There's other community members in other jurisdictions of the world that don't have the physical infrastructure and assets to do these things. Multicultural civil society. As a brief digression, this is one of the core things, and I'm heading up at MaRS right now. If you look at the trends in our entrepreneurial clients, and I'll provide some insight shortly, but if you look at the trend in our entrepreneurial clients from a demographic perspective, what is the fastest growing demographic? Non-whites. First generation or second generation immigrants coming in, wanting to start a business. Maybe it's cultural affinity, maybe it's their parents, maybe it's some insight that they have. Who knows where they get it from? This is a huge asset. And immigration is core to our population growth as a country. These people inherently, by virtue of the trends that we've seen over the last 2 years at MaRS, want to be entrepreneurs. And they have drive that is exceptional. So how do you leverage them? Well, if they have connections to foreign countries to get them introduced to new markets to set up, let's do that. Let's actually leverage the fact that we have a multicultural society. And if their parents have connections in India, maybe we can have their friends who live in India to come over here to work with this company to help them get situated in India to sell their products. Why not? It's a core strength that not many other jurisdictions have nor celebrate. But the one here that's not on, and to some extent it applies to this room, so I won't try to make eye contact. We also have an aging population. And you know what? It's a core demographic thing. It is a huge asset. Because what comes with an aging population? Business skills, expertise. People that have been there, done that. And the fact that we have this model in Canada where people are like, oh, we have an aging population, and you feel this air of complacency where, retired, I paid my dues, I want to sit back and golf. You know what? It's a call to action that's got to stop. This is a competitive advantage of many jurisdictions that are younger, fast-growing, the Asian countries. They don't have this. They reach out to the other more mature markets to find the expertise and mentorship to help grow and do a whole series of things. So when you look at these at a macro level and you apply them maybe to the Peterborough region, if all these things hold true and you have a boomer population, if you will, okay, you have a lot. Now it's just a matter of finding enabling organizations, such as the Greater Peterborough Innovation Cluster, the institutions, that can somehow harness this to drive innovation, commercialization, entrepreneurship, and help these companies grow to be competitive on a global scale. And what was really interesting is I was preparing for this. Don't take my word for it. The Peterborough Examiner about 2 years ago had an article that an assessment, I don't know if it was the feds, it might have been Clement that came in, and there was I don't know if anyone participated in this. But this is an article that talked about the strengths. And the thing I love about it the most are the last 2 or 3 lines. What are our core areas, what are our core strengths within this region? Someone recognized that we have baby boomers who have a lot of zip. They're called Zoomers. I've not heard that term before. A lot of regions don't have that. So this region has baby boomers with a lot of zip. Those residents have a lot of business and life experience. I believe there's an angel network in the Peterborough region. I forget the name of it. Apologies. I've had a few interactions with them. That's amazing. A lot of jurisdictions don't have that. I don't know how active it is, but that community just coming together is a great start. And then it is a real strength to have. Without a doubt, absolutely. So there's already been recognition that we have these things here. Again, how well is it coming together to actually drive these companies, these early stage technologies, intellectual property out of these institutions, to drive them towards innovation, knowing the hypothesis that innovative communities will contribute more to economic and social prosperity. I think everyone buys into that. So what is the role of the local community in driving innovation? And I just wanted to throw out an example of community involvement, people like yourselves just getting engaged. And this is a great model that is now franchised. It's started by an entrepreneur from a small town who saw an opportunity to create a forum or an enabling organization to get people to come out and contribute their time to support causes. Okay? Seems pretty straightforward. But the way that the entity came together and how it's managed is quite exceptional. It's called a time raiser. It's now franchised across 10 or 11 cities in Canada. And if you will, picture going to a silent auction, artwork scattered over the walls. As with any silent auction, there's a bid sheet. The art has been purchased by corporate sponsorships. People mill about, and typically you would add a dollar amount as to how much you want to pay for that art, and at the end of the night, when the timer goes off, the highest bid gets the pay. Take out the word fund, silent auction, from a fundraising perspective and put in time raising. The hypothesis was, take a silent auction model, but instead of bidding dollars for artwork, you as a community bid hours of time that you're going to contribute to a cause that you believe in. Gets everyone out, gets everyone inspired. This concept is now franchised across the country, and they sell out every event that they do. But what it shows is that they created a forum, and where the individuals get to volunteer and contribute their time, they get to pick. And interestingly enough, there's certain affinity for people who say, look, I'm a former entrepreneur, I used to be a CEO or a VP of Ops or whatever it is. I actually want to contribute my 30 or 40 hours that I have to win this painting to an organization that I can help grow and do interesting things. The feedback from the individuals that can mentor and coach and work with these organizations, many of which are nonprofits seeking volunteer help, or some are early stage companies that don't have the financial means, absolutely love it. So it shows that it's the mechanism of facilitating the community to get engaged, to find meaningful opportunities to do things. So it's a bit of a digression, but it just shows, wow, there's an appetite to give back and do something. Let's just figure out how to pull it together. So let me provide a bit of background as to what we're tactically doing at MaRS. So for those who don't know, our mandate at MaRS is to help create successful global businesses from Canada's science and technology. Our target market are early stage science and technology entrepreneurial companies, and will be defined as innovative social purpose businesses. And as an organization, and how I get incented, our measure of success are the amount of jobs and the amount of wealth our portfolio companies create whilst working with us. So quite candidly, 15 years from now, if people look back at MaRS and say, hey, where's the big success stories? And we don't have any, have we failed? Yes. We are laser focused on these companies. Ideation is great, commercialization, thinking, but if it doesn't get translated, if it doesn't go from the R to the D, if you will, then it becomes problematic. And we do an annual pulse check to make sure we're doing the right things, but we recognize the importance of job and wealth creation as our measure of success.